Welcome to ShiftWatch. I'm your host, Starbuck. In this episode, what is the KP index? Dave Wallace explains just what this measurement tool tells us and where to find a link to the actual data source. Next, the EarthMaster shows us an update of the latest earthquake tremor count along the West Coast. And I've never seen so many in a swarm within a 30-day period. Then, I had many Zoom sessions over the last few weeks. They gave me a chance to see some synchronicities between them. Here is one of those comparisons that were so similar, you can't ignore them. And finally, unlikely as it seems that someone at my stage of life and a young rapper would connect, but well, we did, just as it was designed. In this life, it's not about how you play out your life as a service to others being and what you do. It's about attracting the same quality of awareness people into our circles.
Lowell and I cross-reference a lot of different astrophysics sites and solar information, planetary sites. Not all electromagnetic forces are bad. And if you go on to some of these cuckoo crazy YouTube sites about electromagnetism and the impact and the planetary electromagnetic forces weak and all these other things, it becomes a scaremongering fright show for people who are pseudoscientists. And let me tell you what a real scientist is. A real scientist is a person who has taken probably a good portion of their life to really research and engage in whatever their big questions were about the planet. And so that makes me a scientist. So when we look at these sites about solar activity and planetary alignments, and we hear people going, oh, the electromagnetosphere is really weak, and that causes all sorts of fibrillations in the heart, and it interferes with pacemaker technology and blah, blah, blah. Of course it does. Yeah. And I really want people like Ben Davidson and all the other people talking about the situation with the sun to look at the positive aspects of existence, the positive aspects of being able to observe these phenomena, to feel them and to not be afraid of them, because it's a beautiful part of reality. I believe very sincerely that this is an opportunity for all human beings to think about why we're here. And Lowell and I touched on in the green room the purpose of our existence and what we've come to in our existence. As a theoretician, I believe that time, light, gravity, and sound all arrived at the same time because one couldn't exist without the other. There's nothing bad that's going to happen with the alignment of these planets. And what it's going to do is it's going to give us a breath of fresh air from the nonstop, 6, 7, 8 month onslaught we've had from our sun during this part of the grand solar maximum. So one of the things that I did want to touch on just in science is that we hear a lot about the KP index. So KP index, and this is, I have a website for everybody. So if you get your pen out right now, write down spaceweather.gfz, which is George Frank Zebra, GFZ -hyphen Potsdam, all lowercase because it's Potsdam, POTSDAM, and then it's .de because it's going to the German University Global Net. So the KP index is that gravity is the occurrence of gravitational electromagnetic energy, or electromagnetic activity is the occurrence of K variations in the atmosphere, and it's read by dozens and dozens of planetary observatories and magnetometers. When they can register a magnetometer reading of a fluctuation of energized particles that strike the Earth, then they collate that data 24 hours a day with supercomputers now, and they all connect to each other. That way, NASA and NOAA and the FCC all know what's going on.
Still seeing some movement up here. As we've been watching over the past couple weeks here, some interesting activity along the southern end here of the Cascadia subduction zone. This 2.9, looks like they've upgraded here, 2.9, 26 kilometers deep here underneath this land. Now this has nothing to do with the mountain range. This has everything to do with the Cascadia subduction zone, which sits just offshore here of the Northern California area. 26 kilometers. Now that's upstream from the tremor, which occurs about 35 to 45 kilometers deep further into the subduction zone. And there is the last tremor count in the, looks like I clicked the month period here. Today's event hasn't come in yet, so I'm just going to go back here and show you guys the activity here over the last 30 days. But we're looking at about 8,390 epicenters of tremor along the Cascadia subduction zone in the last month. Now that's quite a bit of tremor, and it's all mainly been confined here to the southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone, which, by the way, can produce easily a 9.0 or greater earthquake upon full rupture here of the Cascadia. Partial rupture, anywhere from a 7.5 up to an 8.4. So I want to show you guys the regular intervals here of tremor, which is right here. There we go. Now this here shows 10,000 years of Cascadia earthquakes where we're at today. This is actually put out probably a few years ago. So we're one step closer, 1 day, 1 minute closer to the big one out here. The average earthquake here along the Cascadia subduction zone, including the partial ruptures, is about 246 years. So the last full rupture quake was back in 1700, 324 years ago. So the numbers are quite, they're getting up there in terms of accumulation. So this is just the average. There has been times where we've seen longer periods here in between the amount of time, right, between a large earthquake out here. The graph here shows 9 pointers in the tallest of lines, and some of those exceeding the 9.0 threshold, which is possible. 9.2, 9.3 there along the full rupture of the Cascadia subduction zone. Some of the smaller lines there, anywhere from the smallest line looks to be a 7.5, but as you can see, we can get up there around 8.5, 8.2, and these are partial ruptures, 8.7. And that's a little concerning, right? Because even a partial rupture itself can produce a significant size earthquake and ultimately a tsunami here across this region, and not to mention the damage. So a lot of tremor has been taking place here in this area, along with subsequent earthquake activity upstream here. So it's not just tremor occurring with no type of earthquake movement upstream here. And this is not one of those areas where you could say, well, these little ones are going to prevent the big one. That doesn't work in this case, in this type of boundary.
Do you want to tell him about how to drive the spaceships? Because I think that's very interesting. So maybe he already knows, but I have to write it down.
No, I want to hear Ayden's piloting.
Yeah. Okay. I need to bring my phone to show you. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, these UFOs that like everyone knows about. They're like a cartoon, and there's a little alien inside.
Sure.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. Just a basic.
Yeah.
Basic.
That is a real one, but it's not just like the one person. It's actually really big. So this is what it looks like from the top. This is the top view. And then, where the dome is, the dome goes to the bottom, on the floor of it. So the dome is right here on the middle. Then there's seats all along the glass wall, like this. There's seats all over it where people sit. There's a lot of seats, and it's big. And the driver is right here in his own room, and there's a seat right here. The driver sits here. There's 2 joysticks. He can use the joysticks, and they move wherever to control it, like a skid loader. But also, you can control it with your mind, but it's not as accurate as the joysticks. So like if you're tired and you don't want to control it with the joysticks, you can use your mind.
Got
And
it, like
there's
autopilot.
the 3 circles on the front, you know those I forgot. They're either like energy weapons or I don't know.
Okay, if you might need those.
Yeah, I don't know what they are. I don't think I used them ever.
Hmm.
And this is the glass dome, and it goes all the way to the floor. In the middle, I don't know what it is. Maybe like storage. I don't know.
Hmm.
And there's more, but I forgot what they look like. They're like
Different shapes.
Yeah,
You've talked about different shapes. Yeah.
like shapes I can't
Yeah.
do in the 3D world.
Oh, Miami, I had the best experience with that. That they literally went right above me. They literally shut all the electricity off around me. Like literally for a whole 30 seconds. Everybody's
Were you at
electricity
that
went off.
Miami Mall thing?
Oh, I wasn't. I left right before that, actually. Literally right before that. I have a video of it. Even on my Instagram, I think it's there. So I put my phone up like this, and then it was the other way, and it was floating. It looked like a big, like 40-foot circle, like with glass windows with like a club inside there with lights. And I was like, hey, I'm here. Thank you. It is Christenelle. So you put the Christian with the nail at the end. Christenelle
Okay.
Durant.
And is that what you prefer?
Yeah, or you could call me Gypsy or whatever you want to call me. Anything.
Well, if there's something other than Christianelle, and it comes to me, I'll bounce it off of you. But okay, now when I checked out your profile, everything pointed to like freaking Romania.
Yes,
So
sir.
explain your geography and where you are now, okay?
Sure, sure. All right. So I was born in Bazil, Romania, and during the end of the communist regime, and handpicked by the Mother Teresa. And she took care of me for at least 8 to 9 months in Romania, took me to Bucharest in an orphanage. And that's where I stayed till I got adopted to upstate New York in a town called Syracuse.
I'm
by a
familiar
single
with it.
mother. Yeah. And then I came all the way out to California again for the second time. So this is the best feeling. Now I'm in up north in Northern California, right outside of I'm in Hayward right now. So I love it. It's
Got it.
beautiful.
Well, you said you went back to California. So
Yes,
let's
sir.
jump in the Wayback Machine and go back to the last time you were here. When was it? And tell me what you did while you were there.
Oh, you got the hairs going up my arms right now.
It was intentional.
Literally, that's the crazy thing about it. So this is the weird thing. I have had a thing about ancient civilizations for the longest time. And before I even went to California, I got taken in by the Native Americans out here. Well, and not here, but in New York. So they took me in, adopt me in, showed me a lot of ways and everything. And I was always attached to Atlantis, but then I never knew about Lemuria and the Lemurians in Mount Shasta. And then something brought me to like find out about Lemuria and Mount Shasta. I'm like, oh, and it just, I don't know, bro. It's just like, oh, it just like, it was like a magnet that just put me from New York all the way there. Like, I have to be there. That's somewhere where I have to go. I don't know what it is, but like, it's pulling me at a full speed. And I started researching and researching. Within 3 days, I got a phone call. I got a phone call from my brother Steve. And he goes, hey, you want to work in California? I said, are you serious? No way. Go crazy. And then I said, only deal is I got to go to Mount Shasta. And he said, deal.
Where did
And
he
I
want
said,
you to go?
well, he wanted me to work and do like energy work, sell like energy and stuff like that out here, like gas, electric, solar, stuff like that.
Got it.
So I was gonna come work out to California. So I went to Cali, and then about two months in, I want to say early June, I went. It was in 2016. I went to I seen Mount Shasta, and it was. I can't even explain. First, I went to some Shambhala teacher, I think it's called, and the lady said, that if you go there, you completed your life mission, and if you make it to Mount Shasta, and you get to do all your dreams. I said, "Are you serious? Oh my gosh!" I'm so excited. I went and I prayed like I was told to, and I prayed, and everything I prayed for happened, or it's still happening right now to this day. Like everything came true, or it still is. Weird in the weirdest way. Before I got there, the snow had fallen. There was no snow. Then the snow reappeared, which is weird. A really weird thing. I went there. I got to figure out. My friend's gonna pull up in a second. We were in some town where Mount Shasta was like, say you could see the mountain like right there. It was so big, right next to it.
Probably
And
weed.
yeah, they actually, wow. I like gemstones, like quartz, all minerals are like my favorite. Like I love collecting. And I found this railroad track, okay? This is the craziest thing that ever happened to me in my life. I found this railroad track in California, and I found a quartz, and something led me on this track to keep on going. So I'm going this way. I'm going straight down now. And I'm like, I have to find quartz. It's like I don't know, it's something inside me that's forcing me, like not in a negative way, but like so positive. You're gonna find the nicest piece. Keep on looking, like something like that. You know what I mean? Like, okay, hey. So then I keep on going down. I keep
I
on
just
going.
love to watch somebody who uh, knows that they've got something and are freaking compelled to do something. I don't understand why, but I'm going to do it because
Have to.
it just feels like I'm supposed to. Now,
Yeah,
what I hope you understand, and I'm going
yeah,
to underscore for you if you haven't,
yeah.
is if you haven't understood that you have mastered manifestation, dude, let
Oh,
me tell you,
yeah,
you have.
yes, yes, yeah. I just kind of realized it just recently. Thank you for saying that. Say everything I think about, it comes to like all the celebrities I ever wanted to meet, or if they're great people, I'll work with them. If they're not, I might see them, but it'll show me that they're not the energy I should be working with, you know?
I'm just here to ask you, and I'm
Sure.
not giving you advice. I'm just
Thank you.
holding up a mirror. Be mindful where your attention goes. Dude,
Thank you.
you have
Thank you.
mastery. Nobody else has. Nobody.
Oh, you give me hype.
And
Thank you.
respect that and make sure that you don't let the wrong energies in your aura. You're
Thank you.
supposed to be shining and sharing your shit, but I
Oh,
hope you've
God,
learned how to protect yourself first.
yes, yes. Thank you. That I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. That really means a lot to me.